Hello everyone, welcome to this video in which I want to talk about how I am having a fulfilled time in self-isolation or in quarantine. So, staying at home, it makes us fall back onto our introverted self, which means that if we spend a lot of time alone or a lot of time with the same people over and over again, we have to figure out how can we fill our days and feel good about them. And of course, this applies mostly to people who don't have to work right now or who have to work in home office and don't have to work like permanently all the time. Relying on our own resourcefulness is kind of hard sometimes. Keeping ourselves busy can be hard. And what I mean by this is that it can be hard to take inspired action. It can be hard to take conscious action. We may fall into patterns where we take very unconscious action, very unreflected action, like watching Netflix the whole day, or playing video games the whole day, or staring at our phones the whole day. And all of those activities are fine if they make you happy, if they truly make you feel fulfilled. For myself, I know that's not the case, but I still do it if I don't keep myself from it. So today I want to talk about how I keep myself from doing those things and how I stay present and how I stay in the moment every day. Now, there's a few productivity tips, I would call them, that I want to talk about here, but I want to make it clear that I'm not a fan of the whole you have to be productive paradigm. For me, productivity is much more about inspired and conscious action. That's kind of the buzzword here, inspired and conscious action. Because inspired and conscious action can be watching a Netflix show. It can be scrolling on your phone and learning something new. So don't misunderstand me here. This is not just about writing your whole novel within 2 weeks. This is not just about realizing your dreams and making them come true within a week of quarantine. That's not what this is about. But what I mean by productivity is inspired and conscious action. I want to make that very, very clear. So if you are susceptible to scrolling or to binge watching or to playing video games all day like I am, it is very, very helpful to know these tips that I am going to share with you now, and hopefully you can integrate them in your life, integrate them in your routine so that you can feel more ready to take inspired action and to take conscious action. So I'm a fan of getting into the flow. I'm a fan of releasing control and letting myself drift into whatever I'm interested in if I have nothing to do at home. However, if I don't do that in a kind of controlled way, it is easy for me to slip into things. So the first thing I want to alert you to is to know the difference between when you are entering a flow state and when you are in a conscious, inspired loop of action versus when you are taking unconscious action. You are catching yourself keeping on pressing next episode, next episode, next episode on Netflix, or you keep scrolling on Instagram even though you've seen everything you've wanted to see. All of those things are unconscious action. And that's not what we want. If you're like me, maybe you want that. I don't want that because it doesn't make me happy. Let me know if it makes you happy. That's totally fine. But for me, it doesn't. Now, obviously, do what your mental health allows you to do, which means that if you don't feel ready or willing to do this and you just need to stay in that unconscious, distracted state that's kind of numbing, I understand. Sometimes we all need numbing states like that in order to feel good about ourselves and in order to keep our mental health going. However, for me, that's definitely a trap. They make me feel better for a little bit, but then it goes downhill. So for me, I've found that it is really important that I don't engage in those behaviors, even if they may feel comforting at the minute that I do them. So let's get to the productivity tips. And by productivity, as I said, I mean the basis for taking inspired and conscious action. So in order to create this basis for taking action that is inspiring and that is conscious, I use these methods. The first thing is turn off pop-up notifications on your phone. What I mean by this is in the top bar as well as maybe the little numbers next to the apps that tell you that you have so and so many notifications. The reason I do this is because what happens is I'm on Instagram, someone writes to me, a message pops up. I switch out of Instagram, forget what I was doing on Instagram, go to the message, respond to that person, go out, go into TikTok. Someone else messages me. I look at that. Then I go back to Instagram. Someone messaged me there. And it just keeps going and going and going. And I have no idea what I'm even doing on my phone. So it's not necessarily that I just scroll and scroll and scroll, but it's rather that I keep getting distracted from point to point. So we want to avoid that, obviously. So if you want to give yourself 5 minutes of scrolling time on Instagram, fine, cool. But then turn off notifications so that you don't get drawn into a myriad of other things that you can't deal with right now, like pop-up messages or other apps that want you to look at content, etc., etc. So this really, really, really helps me. I have notifications off all day, which means if I have planned that I'm going to be social at 2 p.m., that is when I check my messages, not every single 5-minute interval while I'm on my phone. And if I want to scroll on Instagram, that's the only thing I do. I don't check my messages. So that makes your day a lot more controlled, at least for me it does. Now, the second tip I have is actually before you go to bed. Make a list of what you want to achieve the next day. For me, usually those lists look very loose. I kind of write down, okay, I need to call insurance, I need to film a video, I need to edit a video, I need to run groceries. But nowadays, it looks a bit different. I literally plan everything down to the hour. Now, this might seem a little bit obsessive, and it's probably not for everyone, but for me, it helps me immensely. So I would write down something like 7:30, get up, drink water with lemon, take my supplements in the morning, then 8 a.m. work out, do a meditation, shower, 9 a.m. do breakfast, watch a nice YouTube video, do my makeup if I'm going to film, and so on and so forth. So I actually structure it like that so that my mind doesn't even have the opportunity to go into weird places where I get drawn into like, oh, it's maybe not so bad if I watch one episode, you know? And then it becomes 2 episodes and so on. So it really helps me. And I keep looking at this list all the time so that I stay on track and I stay, I do those things. However, I want to say that obviously I allow for leeway. You're not going to have a perfect day, and some hours I don't plan them out. I just say like, okay, this is creative time. This is time where I can learn the language that I'm learning right now, or I can watch an episode if I really want to, or I can journal, or I can draw tarot cards. So allow for that time as well, definitely. And the important thing is do this before you go to bed so you don't have to think about this in the morning. Plan out your day in the morning, in the evening, before, however much detail suits you. Now, the third tip I have is to take part in video calls for accountability. Many people have been doing this with friends, I know, as a sort of hangout thing, but I also quite like taking part in group live calls, or certain influencers who make live calls like that, where they really just sit together and work. There's one that I take part in every weekday that is always at like 7 p.m. my time. It's just 1 hour of concentrated work. And I can't even overstate how great it is to do that because I actually don't look at my phone then. For some reason, having people around you on a screen or even in the background tab, if you know this is the time you're supposed to work, it helps. And I'm not even on the video call. So I could do whatever I want. Nobody would know. But it still helps. And if you're with a friend, you're actually on the video call, that's even better. Because then they can see you. And if you want to, if you tell them, hey, if you see me getting on my phone, stop me, then that works as well. So that has been so helpful, not just to socialize, but also to really harness my productivity, especially at night when you get to that point of the day where you're like, okay, This is where I would usually meet friends. This is where I would usually hang out with people. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have like one more productive hour then, or to talk to people as you're doing that. And then the next tip I have is write down your distractions rather than engaging with them, especially if you are having an hour or so of concentrated work time. It helps so much. So let's say I want to have an hour of concentrated work time. What's going to happen is I say I'm going to plan a video. But then as I'm planning it, 1,000 things come to my mind. I'm remembering like, oh, I wanted to write to a friend if they want to do a video call tomorrow. Or, oh, I still need to call this and this person or this and this insurance company. Or, oh, I wanted to clean up my books today. And instead of engaging with that and engaging with those impulses, hold them and write them down. Write them down on a list that is just for those distractions. And after your hour of focused work or focused whatever you're doing, you look at them again, and then you can do them. Then you can follow those impulses when they are no longer impulses, and they will also hold a different priority because maybe they aren't even as important as they seemed when they came to your mind spontaneously. So this definitely also helps me stay off my phone because I'm like, oh, I wanted to post a story, or oh, I wanted to check what this online friend that I have is doing on Instagram. And writing that down rather than doing it, it does me so much good. So write down your distractions so that at the end of it, you can look at it and reflect on why you had these impulses if you want to, or just engage with the impulses afterwards so they don't distract you as you are working. Now, these were really simple tips, but I hope they are helpful. And now at the end, I would like to talk a little bit more about what I mean by inspired action and what it has been meaning for me so that you know what my days have been looking like. So as I mentioned before, I start my day with drinking lemon water every day. Get your vitamin C in, kids. I do a workout every day nowadays. I take a shower every day. I learn a little bit of a new language that I'm working on right now every day. I eat consciously. I plan my meals a lot more so that I don't snack so much in between, which I'm definitely prone to do. And I always remind myself to keep an open mind, to stay conscious. I try to plan more videos for YouTube. I try to shoot more videos for YouTube so that you guys have some content to engage with and hopefully find it helpful. And that is what I mean by inspired action. That's sort of what my days look like right now, or calling, checking in on older relatives, checking in on my family, talking to my friends, all of those things. So that's what I mean by inspired action, and that's what fills up my days mostly. And I think that's about everything I wanted to say. I also have a video about easy witchcraft practices if you want to look at that, and also some video about how to stay inspired as a solitary witch. That might also be helpful in this situation, so I will link those videos below if you want to keep watching. I will also link my Patreon where I post journaling prompts for conscious and mindful thinking every month, and also some other perks. And I will post my Instagram below as well. It would mean a lot to me if you like this video. I know everyone says that, but it really does help the algorithm. And if you want to dwell in my domain a little longer and you're not subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. That also makes me happy. And I hope that you have the greatest of days, the greatest of weeks. Take very good care of yourself, and let me know in the comments what methods you use in order to keep yourself present, to keep yourself conscious in these weird ass times.